Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is my knee-jerk reaction for game week 2, and without further ado we'll just get right into it. So many of us have actually doubled up on Man United assets, and both of them, that is Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, did blank again in game week 2, and Man United lost 2-0 to Tottenham Hotspur. So if you take a look at the game, actually Man United in the first half dominated the game, and Bruno created 2 big chances and also missed one. He also had 7 passes into the final third, and by far was the best attacking midfielder on the pitch for the entirety of the game. Though in the second half he did misplaced many of the chances, but we are not talking about only football games here, we are talking about FPL. So what it matters for us is that one attacking return rather than the gameplay for the entirety of the week. So I believe Bruno Fernandes did great in game week 2, but he was very unlucky to get an attacking return. He could have an assist for that Rashford header, he could have scored himself a header, and also could have had potentially 2 penalties awarded. So I think accordingly, attacking wise, it was a great game for Bruno Fernandes. I think he was just unlucky. If you take a look at his XG for that game was 0.76, which is great for a midfielder, and also XA was 0.42. so his upcoming fixture run is Nottingham Forest, then Arsenal, then Brighton, then Burnley and Crystal Palace. So many of the people are thinking of offloading Bruno Fernandes or Rashford. I think Bruno Fernandes is a must hold against that Nottingham Forest side, and it is an home game, and definitely Man United will bounce back and score in this game, as they haven't only scored 1 goal in first 2. So I think he's a definite hold, even though it might seem like he has flopped in both the games. Trust me, hold him for this game week. A player that impressed me in game week 2 was Man City's Phil Foden against Newcastle United. I thought this would be a pretty difficult game for Man City, but they did win. It was a tough game. There was not a big difference between the two in terms of scoreline, but I think Man City dominated the game position wise, and also Phil Foden, in absence of their main creators, that is the Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and the departures they have had taken up the mantle of carrying the team, and he did deliver. So he took the game by himself and did create a couple of chances. The first goal that Alvarez scored was created by him, that is Phil Foden. He also created 1 or 2 chances for Erling Haaland. I think he looked pretty promising in that game. He has created 7 chances in both the game weeks that he has played. Then he has 3 passes into the final third. His XG for the Newcastle United game was 0.33 and XA was 0.53. And if you take a look at his games after game week 2, it's Sheffield United in 3, it's Fulham in 4, and it's West Ham in 5, it's Nottingham Forest, and then it's Wolves away. So a very good run of fixtures, and I think Man City will score 3 or 4 goals in near about every single game week after this. So I do want a piece of that attack. So I think Phil Foden is the best way you can go for. You can also go for Julian Alvarez. He's priced at, I think he's cheaper than Phil Foden, and is priced at 6.5 million, and he's a striker playing into the midfield in actual game. But I think Phil Foden is the safest option right now. So 7.5 million midfielder, given that fixture, and I think he's a no-brainer. So another midfielder that I have my eyes on is James Maddison, who didn't particularly perform that great against Manchester United, and also was seen leaving the stadium in crutches, though he told the journalist that it was just a precaution. I think James Maddison has been the most creative midfielder in first 2 game weeks. He has already had 2 assists, he has created 8 chances. Apart from Bruno, I must say Bruno was really great in game week 2, and obviously his passes into the final third are 12. His XG for game week 2 is 0.10 and his XA is 0.25. So what I can see from my eye test and also from stats is that he's more of an assist getter. He's not getting that much chances to score a goal. So I think if you want to go for him, I don't think he will get many goals in this Spurs side unless he's on pens. So yeah, he pretty much will get 1 assist in every game, to be honest, but he won't be that upside player that Phil Foden is, say, for example, who gets like more than 10-14 points in a game week, or BMO like this game week he's got 16 points. I think James Maddison is a stable 7-pointer every game week. So one more midfielder that lit up the game week this weekend was Solly March. So Solly March was pretty much ignored by every single fantasy manager. His ownership is really low despite his stats being comparable to near about same to Mitoma. So up till now, that is in game week 1 and 2, he has scored 3 goals. He has had 8 total shots, 24 total points, 0.87 xg for game week 2 and 0.14 xa for game week 2, and he has been a better pick than Mitoma, better midfielder, betting attacking returns than Mitoma, both Mitoma and BMO. So yeah, so I think we have gone for the wrong guy actually. So next up is West Ham United, Newcastle, Man United, Bournemouth, Aston Villa. So only red fixture I can see in that lineup is Newcastle United, because I don't think Man United are that great of a side defensive wise. They were carved open by Wolves and also by Tottenham this game week. So I think if you want to double up on that Brighton midfield, I think Solly March is the one you can go for. So I own Ollie Watkins and was pretty optimistic. I was actually gonna cap him in this game week. I should have kept him because he did get an attacking return, and I had Holland who didn't, and also Salah only scored a goal, but he did miss a penalty, so he only scored 5 points this game week. Ollie Watkins also scored 5 points. So but I'm not that impressed with him. I watched the Aston Villa game this week, so most of the chances are falling to the likes of Diaby and Bailey, and Watkins didn't look that eager to score a goal for me in that striking position, and also was more of a layoff player than an actual out and out number 9, as in he didn't create many chances to score the goals. All the chances, as I said, fall to Bailey and obviously Diaby. And at 8 million, when he's not on pens, I don't think he becomes that much great of an asset. And if you take a look at his fixture run, it's Burnley away, Liverpool away, Crystal Palace home, Chelsea away and Brighton home. So it's a pretty difficult run of fixtures. I would if I wanted to have a Aston Villa asset, I would go for Bailey, I would go for Diaby, who is priced at 6.5 million, whereas Watkins at 8 million, probably I will ship him out to, I think, Jackson, who has a great run of fixtures, who hasn't scored for Chelsea yet in game week 1. I haven't watched his game week 2 match yet. I am recording before that. So yeah, talking about Watkins, his XG for game week 2 was 0.15, so that's pretty low, and XG was 0.05, even though he created 3 chances in that game. Total shots, combining 2 game weeks, it's only 3 shots. So I think given that fixture run, it would be sensible to downgrade him to Jackson, and same can be said about João Pedro. If he's not a nailed on starter at 5.5 million, even though at 5.5 million he's a great asset to have, I think if he's not nailed on, if you can make a move to Jackson or Visa, if you have that money in the bank, I think you should just do it. So that's it guys. Do let me know how your game week went, how many points you made for game week 2, and see you in my team selection video for game week 3, and good luck.